Hi there. I want to talk a little bit about blepharospasm. It's a horrible disorder. If you're watching this video, then you're probably familiar with what it is, and you're just looking for an answer. And so I'm not going to go into too much detail about what blepharospasm is, but obviously, it's a condition where you really can't control your eyes. They start closing, and it's almost like a spasm, and you can't control it. This happened to me a number of years ago. I still struggle with it some, but nothing like how it used to be. Like when it first came on me, it was the worst. I mean, oh my God, I thought I would become disabled because I really couldn't keep my eyes open. And at one point they got so bad that they weren't even blinking together at the same time. It was like, I mean, it was horrible, horrible. And, it was embarrassing, and I couldn't really explain it to anybody because I didn't know either. My doctors didn't know. Of course, the doctors all felt really sorry for me. That was really great, but they really were of no help, honestly. So whichever kind of doctor, eye doctor, whatever, my personal doctor. I did not go to a neurologist, but I kind of work around medical people, so I did like what they call curbside medicine, which is where you just get free advice from a neurologist. And he didn't really feel that it was anything that I needed to really see a neurologist for. However, that doesn't mean that you don't need to. I do believe when you have something weird, it's best to leave no stone unturned, okay? So I apologize in advance. I like to make really, really short videos. I cannot make a short video on this topic because, first of all, nobody really knows exactly what causes blepharospasm. So for me, anything that could possibly cause it, I just assumed I had it because I really couldn't prove whether or not I did. And I did treatments for like 5 different disorders at the same time, and it was overwhelming and it was expensive, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna tell you all that in advance. I'm gonna tell you everything that I did do that I felt like helped, but I'm still gonna tell you things that I did that I'm not even sure if they helped, because what if that one thing that I left out is something that would make a difference for you? I mean, you can kind of play around with this and see what works for you, but I'll just tell you everything that I did, and I will also tell you what I would do differently. All right, so we're just going to jump right in because this is a whole lot of content to go over. First of all, I have found out, I did not know this at the time, but that copper toxicity can cause blepharospasm. All right, so I want to jump right into that. I don't want to talk too much about how you get copper toxicity because we could do a whole 2-hour program just on that alone, all right? If you're interested in that, you can Google copper toxicity. You can find out all kinds of information on that on your own. But basically, if you've ever had an IUD, you might have had some copper pipes. If you had the amalgams, the dark fillings in your mouth, you could have been exposed to copper that way. A plethora. And I think, oh, guess what? Also, they put it in multivitamins. That's right. So if you look at your vitamins, you may see that is one of the ingredients is copper. So, quit taking it. Just err on the side of caution. Just assume that you have it, whether you do or not, just for a little while, because until you can run some tests if you want to do that. So a really great test to do is a hair test analysis. It's under $150, so it's somewhat reasonable. And you can get them offline. The great thing about the hair test analysis is it will tell you which heavy metals you are storing in your hair, and that's how your body tries to get rid of things. It's like, we got to put this stuff somewhere, and puts it in your hair, your bump, puts it all kinds of different places. But you can test for it in your hair. And then that will also tell you specific minerals that you may be deficient in, which that's nice. So then instead of saying, oh God, I got to take like all these different minerals, you can know, oh, I'm deficient in this, this, and this. It may be that you're deficient because your body is using all of those minerals to counteract the copper, or it may be that because you're deficient in those minerals and that makes you unable to metabolize the copper out of your system, that's how you've become toxic with copper. There again, it's chicken and egg thing, but just go with it. Just give it a shot. Now, some things that you can do with copper for copper toxicity is you take zinc. Okay, and I don't remember the exact amount, so I don't want to tell you wrong, but you can Google zinc for copper toxicity. I did used to know, and I apologize, I forgot. And you take molybdenum. Now, I took 3 milligrams of molybdenum a day. Molybdenum will help you if you think about your body the detoxification process, if you think of it like you're going down a road and then there's a bridge and you need to get to the other side of the road, basically what happens, if you are deficient in certain cofactors or nutrients in one of the trace elements, which is molybdenum, it's a vital factor in being able to complete your detoxification process. So let's say you're going down the road, you've got to get to the other side, but the bridge is closed. The reason the bridge is closed is because they don't have any manpower. It's not going to be open for a couple of days. Okay, the manpower is the molybdenum, okay? Your body cannot finish this detoxification process without the molybdenum. If it had the molybdenum, or the workers, if you want to look at it that way, then the bridge would be open, and here you would go. So what happens is your body has to wait until it can have more molybdenum in order to, so that's why, so I'll give you an example. I got really sick one time trying to do some of this detoxification thing when I was going through everything with my eyes. And I actually had like flu-like symptoms. Like, I mean, my sinuses were bad, I was not running down my nose, just all kinds of, it was just awful. I felt terrible. And I thought I was getting a cold, really, is what I thought. But I had some molybdenum around the house because I remembered from my hair test analysis that it said I was deficient in molybdenum. And I'd heard all kinds of people who spoke on detoxification talk about the importance of molybdenum and how sometimes if you were sick, and sometimes you're sick because you really do have the flu, but sometimes you're sick because your body's detoxing and you don't even know it, and that's really why you're sick. And you think it's, you know, not every time that you have the flu is it really not the flu and detoxification, but it could be sometimes. Long story short, I took the molybdenum. Within a couple of hours, all of my symptoms were gone. I felt completely fine. So that turned me on to molybdenum and honestly made me a huge believer, just period, in like, oh my God, you know, it really, you know, your body tries to detox and you do really have to support it and help it sometimes, because if you are overladen with a whole bunch of toxins, it can't finish the process. It runs out. You burn through all your molybdenum because your body, you don't even know you're detoxing, but your body's constantly, and it's like you're building a house and you run out of bricks. You gotta wait till they bring more before you get anything else done. That's exactly how it is. So I'm not saying that for every person the deficiency is in molybdenum. Mine was molybdenum and manganese is what I was deficient in. Now you may be deficient in other things, okay? So that's why I say do a hair test analysis. But if you can't afford that, I don't think it would hurt you to try adding in some molybdenum. Just go easy with it, okay? Because you can get too much. That's great, right? But so here's what you do. You take molybdenum. If you feel better, then you keep taking it. If you take it for a little while and you're like, I don't feel so good, take a break. That's one way to know. And sometimes you do, even things that you really do need, sometimes you still have to take breaks from them. So that's okay, it's all part of it. Now, I know I'm talking so fast, but this is just so much information and I hate to make a really long video. Another thing that is very important is taking chlorella. Now back then, I didn't take chlorella, I took sea kelp. I think it was sea kelp that I got from Klamath Basin Lake, which I like that because I have worked in that town, so I thought that was kind of cool. I bought it in Arizona, but it came from the Klamath Lake in Oregon. Now my nurse practitioner, or my naturopath, was not a fan of that, and she scared me. Now I'm going to tell you, when I took it, what it does is it, oh I'm sorry, it's not kelp, it's a sea algae. That's what it is, algae. I felt like it helped me, okay? But she was like, Sally, I'm really worried about that product because I'm not sure that it's not contaminated with some other toxins and blah, blah, blah. So, you know, I'm like, all right, I gotta be careful. So she switched me to chlorella, and she really liked the brand, and it's by a company called Protocol. So you can buy Protocol, you can buy chlorella by Protocol on Amazon. It's under 15 bucks, I think. And you take you build up to 4 capsules 3 times a day. You don't have to start out taking it 3 times a day. What it does is it helps absorb some of the toxins in your system and help Well, so therefore, if you're absorbing some of the toxins, then your body doesn't have to work so daggone hard to try to move them out of your system, okay? So that's another reason that's important. Another nice thing about some of those sea algae and chlorella is I felt like they kind of helped hydrate my eyes, which to me were so unbearably dry during this time. Now, the doctors will tell you that dry eyes can cause blepharospasm, and I completely believe that. But then there we go. Well, what caused the dry eyes, right? They don't want to talk about that. Well, I don't want to say they don't want to talk about that, but I don't find that they really know. So, and it could be allergies. I can go with that a little bit because mine tend to bother me a lot more in the summertime. But the antihistamines make them worse. So there, yeah, it's like, well, that didn't help because antihistamines are drying, right? All right, so if you take the antihistamines though and it helps your eyes, by all means you keep doing it. There is an eye drop out there that has stinging nettle in it, so it's all natural. So you could do that eye drop if you wanted to see if that would kind of help some allergy symptoms in your eyes. I gotta be honest, it didn't help me, but I don't think my symptoms were from allergies, is why. All right, so we talked about the chlorella. Let me just go into, since we're talking about dry eyes, a great treatment for dry eyes. And listen, I tried all the prescription strength stuff or the dry eyes, and for 2 seconds they might feel better. Like, it was ridiculous. I didn't get any long lasting relief from any of that stuff. So then I started watching videos on YouTube. I love YouTube. Thank God for YouTube. And people were using castor oil in their eyes for dry eyes. Brilliant. Brilliant. It's so simple. Look, I go to my local health food store. I buy me one of these little empty bottles, okay? You boil some water, and you obviously stick the glass part down, let it get sterilized, and then what I do is after everything's, obviously the water's turned off and it's not boiling because you don't want to get burned, I just aspirate a little bit of the boiled water up into here. Careful not to burn myself. Kind of just do this number real fast and then squirt it back out so that this is all sanitized too. Okay, but that's a one and done. It sounds like a lot of work. It's one and done. You do that one time. Then you fill the bottle up, easy peasy, with castor oil. Now, I like the castor oil, and I forget the name of the brand, but it is in a dark glass jar container. I'm out of that one, and where I'm living right now, I can't get it, so I have a different type of castor oil. What I have now, it's in a plastic thing, but it's probably not as good, but at least it does say non-GMO or something like that on there, so whatever. I mean, I tried to do the best I could. So you put the castor oil in there. Obviously, you put a drop of castor oil in your eye, in each eye, at nighttime, before you go to bed. And then you go to bed, because you put oil in your eyes, so your vision's going to be a little bit blurry, so you probably just need to go to bed. It goes away in 15 minutes, and it's not like you can't see, but it is a little bit weird. And then when my eyes were at their worst, I did it morning and night. So if you do it when you first get up, then by the time you leave for work, the blurriness should be gone. All right, that helped me immensely. And another thing that you could throw into that too is at nighttime, after you put the castor oil in, warm you up a hot pack. Don't burn your eyes. Do not burn your eyes. Make sure that's not too hot. But then you lay that on them, and oh my gosh, the combination of the steam and the oil is amazing, right? Because that steam, see, that helps all your little glands and stuff like that in there that get clogged up. See, it helps unclog them, the steam and the heat does. And then you got the oil in there too, helping to lubricate. And so if you've got some clogged up little glands in your eyes, this will help loosen them up. It will help heal them. And it feels just really good. It relaxes you. So that's what you can do there too. Okay, another thing that can cause blepharospasm is the Demodex parasite. Now, Demodex is a parasite that lives on your skin and on your eyelashes. It lives off oil, so it gets into, I can't think of the name of I'm totally going blank, but it gets into the glands in your eyelids that produce oil, especially around the lashes. So it can clog them up. And so what you notice is your lashes may be like they're thin and they're brittle and they're falling out or whatever, and your eyes are dry. Well, your eyes are dry, and here's the other thing too. Your eyes may be watery, and you're thinking, how can this be dry eyes? My eyes are watery. That's because you're supposed to have a combination of natural tears mixed in with your oil, and the oil keeps the tears in your eyes. And when your oil glands are clogged up, then you don't have the oil. You're still making the tears, but you don't have the oil to keep the tears in your eyes where they need to be. So then now you have dry eyes. So here's some ways that you can help fight Demodex. I don't want to talk about it too much because there's all kinds of videos on tea tree oil and Demodex. Demodex can even cause like acne, and they've even put people on special antibiotics to kill that down, and their acne went away and their skin looks beautiful. So there's a lot to all of that. But a very simple treatment and something that is very effective at killing the Demodex. Now, I'm not talking about let's kill it off on our face and all that, because we're focusing on the eyes. But you take, and I did all this. I mean, I just assumed I had every single one of these things because I didn't know what I had, and I couldn't get an accurate diagnosis. And so, yeah, I was a little bit crazy. I mean, I had to be to get well, but it worked. So what I did was I took a Q-tip and I dabbed some tea tree oil on it. Not enough to where it was wet. You do not want to get tea tree oil in your eyes, okay? So if you put too much on there and you do this number and it's saturated, no. You want it to just be barely that you can feel that there's a little oil on there. And then at the base of your lashes, you just kind of dab like this. And then I think sometimes I would even rub out on the lashes too. You do each eye and you go to bed. You do this at night before you go to bed, okay? If you really think you have a Demodex infestation, you can also like wash your pillowcases and your sheets and stuff regularly, because as you can imagine, it's just like any other kind of parasite. If it's it's going to be on your pillow and you're just going to reinfest yourself. So what they say is to do this every night, and to, I believe, wash your linens every week. And I even got like a special pillowcase cover that kind of keeps the parasites and stuff like that out, and all the dust mites. I do encourage you to watch videos on the Demodex though, because there's also things you can do. Like you can do like a tea tree oil soap to kill it down off your face. I didn't really take it that far then. I just did my lashes, and it did seem to help make a difference. I think every single thing I did made a difference, and that's why this is a very long video, because I can't leave anything out. And blepharospasm is horrible and it's complicated. In the medical community, they don't know much about it. And so I think that maybe it is multifaceted. Maybe not just one thing is causing Demodex. It may be, you may have 5 or 6 things going on. And if you only had one of those things instead of 5 or 6, maybe you wouldn't have blepharospasm, or maybe you would, it's just, but it's certainly the more combination of things you have, the more risk factors, the more likely you are to experience this horrible condition. So, all right, we went down that route. Now, I did coffee ground enemas. I'm not going to talk about how to do those because there are like 1,000 videos on how to do coffee ground enemas, but I will tell you that I do think it helped detoxify my body. So what I did was one day a week, because I was trying to work a full-time job through all this, so I couldn't lay around like doing coffee ground enemas all the time. So one day a week, I figured on one of my days off, I could do 2 or 3 coffee ground enemas, and I could fast, and that is what I did. And it made a big difference. I really do think it made a big difference. All right, so we got that. Okay, now, I did also a couple of therapies. Acupuncture. Amazing. Acupuncture, why I think it helps work is because regardless of what is causing your blepharospasm, unless you're lucky and all it is Demodex, and then you're going to be fine with just tea tree oil. But if it's any of the other reasons that you may have this, the acupuncture, it relaxes all the muscles that have become so tense that now they're in a spasm. So it overrides your central nervous system, and it calms all that down. It also increases lymph drainage, right? So now it's detoxifying the eyes and all the vessels that feed the eyes. So it really is amazing for blepharospasm. If all the things that I mentioned are too overwhelming to you to try, I recommend, if you do nothing else, you go get acupuncture, because they may also be able to advise you on some other things too that may be a good resource for you, a little bit of backing. Now, my acupuncturist, he told me, he said, look, I've seen this before. You've got to come a bunch of times. And I think he was right. He's like, you got to come a bunch of times, at least 15, 18 times. You got to get in here, and you got to come several times a week. Like, you got to come frequently. The problem is, even though I believed in it and it was helping me, it didn't work with, it didn't go with my schedule. I couldn't get in there hardly. So I just had to leave that alone. I just couldn't do it. And then so I couldn't do the acupuncture, and I had to just keep proceeding with all these other routes. But one thing that I did find also was cranial sacral therapy. Cranial sacral therapy kind of works in the same way that acupuncture does, in that it relaxes your central nervous system, it overrides it, so the muscles relax, and it helps promote detoxification in the areas of the face and the eyes. Now, it's hard to find a real cranial sacral therapist, all right? Oh, I have been to some that tell me they're cranial sacral certified, whatever, and I get in there, nope, we do myofascial release. Okay, myofascial release is great for a lot of things, but it is not good for blepharospasm. If they do that to you, get up and leave. Or this number. Oh, I'm going to do cranial sacral on your neck for just a few minutes because I want to show you that I can do it in your abdomen. And no, I can't keep my eyes open. I'm not worried about my stomach. Like, hello, whatever. You are the consumer. You want cranial sacral, and you want them focused at the occipital, okay? And that's where they need to be. And I went to a therapist probably once or twice a week for about 6 weeks. It made a huge difference for me. But I will tell you that acupuncture sometimes will be covered by insurance, whereas I don't know if you can get cranial sacral covered or not. So you just got to play around, see with what you can afford and what works for you and your budget. All right, so we went through the castor oil, Demodex, coffee ground enemas, cranial sacral. I clench and grind my teeth at night, and I know that about myself. So I invested in a good mouth guard, not Walmart, not even a regular dentist, okay? You need the type, if you think that you clench and grind, you may not, okay? But I know for me, I clench and grind at night, and so this is what I do when I'm sleeping. So look at that, right? Like, of course, all the muscles up here are sore. Of course, my eyes are sore. I feel like my clenching and grinding played a key role in me developing blepharospasm. So I can't leave that out of this, but you may not have that issue. If you do have the issue with clenching and grinding, then I do recommend that you get a brace that has a bump on it. They call them a brace or a mouth guard or an appliance. Or splint. I've heard them called all kinds of different things. You need one. Unfortunately, they're expensive, and you have to get them from a dentist. You can just call around. I know that's a pain, but you want one that will keep your teeth from touching at night when you sleep. So you need a bump, like right in there, something to keep your teeth from being able to touch all the way. That really has helped me a great deal. Something else that has helped me a great deal. Let me just pause this for a second. Nope, it's not going to pause. All right, then we won't pause it. Well, something else that helped me a great deal is another detox that I was taking that I feel like it kind of helps with the clenching and grinding a little bit. It's by Quicksilver, and it's called Silver Binder, I think. I'm so sorry. God, I had on my list, but I didn't put that on my list, and I don't want to leave it off. But if you just go to Quicksilver and type in binders or heavy metal binders, it'll pop up. It's in a black container. I really feel like on the days that I take that stuff, I don't think I clench and grind as much. I really don't. And I feel like even if I had a rough night where I did clench and grind, because I take the Silver Sorb or the Silver Binder, I take it in the morning. I can just kind of feel after about 40 minutes, it's like everything in here just kind of relaxes a little bit. So I feel like it's really absorbing a lot of the toxins in my body, and even some of the, and maybe even some of the toxins that are causing inflammation and like just generalized pain. So I'm a huge fan of that. Now, the problem with that product is it doesn't come in pills. It's come in a nasty powder. It doesn't taste nasty, but it's black. And come on, people, you can't put this in a freaking capsule. Whatever. Anyway, so then you got to brush your teeth like right after, because you're going to have a black tongue and you don't want to stain your teeth. But it does work. It's kind of worth the pain of the whole deal. All right, let me tell you the best part. All right, so I'm doing all of this stuff, right? All this stuff I'm doing. I'm going nuts and I'm spending like hundreds of dollars. And I was so discouraged. God, I was discouraged. And I know you are too if you have blepharospasm, because it's like you can't control it. And it feels so bad because I remember like it was hard to even talk to people, because to concentrate on trying to listen to them and concentrate on trying to keep the spasms away was too much. So it was hard to communicate. And I was at my wit's end, because everything I had read was pretty gloomy prognosis. They didn't really know how to treat it, and it can get to where you can't keep your eyes open. And you know, I'm raising a kid and like I needed to work, and it was really hard to work, and I had so much more pain at the end of the day trying to concentrate. And anyway, and I'm doing all this stuff and it didn't really seem like it was working. And I was at church one day and this song came on, and I'm just gonna tell you part of the lyrics that ministered to me. It was still my vision unto the King of all. And when I heard that part of the song, I was just like, okay, God, you have to fix this, because if you don't, I'll never get better. I've done everything I know to do. I've left no stone unturned. I did all the crazy witch doctor remedies, naturopathic remedies, like there was really nothing I hadn't tried. And he came over me. I listened to that song and I knew that we were singing that song that day for me. I knew that that was my message, because I felt like my eyes couldn't be still, and here it was, still my vision unto the King of all. And I gave it all to him. And after that day, I kept doing all these crazy things, but they started working. That was the difference, is after that experience, I started getting well. All this crazy stuff I was doing started being worth it. It started working, because his hand was on it. That's why. And sorry to get all mushy, but I know if you have blepharospasm, you've shed your share of tears, because it's sad, it's horrible, and it's scary. But I want you to be encouraged, because God made the human body fearfully and wonderfully made. And God is the number one healer. But guess who's number two? Your body. Your body's the best healer next to God. So that means if you stop poisoning it and you support it in the right ways, it can and it will get better. So I want you to take that away from this. I want you to stay encouraged. I want you to incorporate faith into your recipe. And this is a very overwhelming topic, and I know that. And I invite you to send me some questions, and I will try to get back to you as best as I can. I will try, because I know that this is a very scary thing to go through, and there's not a lot of support for you out there. But I will tell you one more thing, that if I had it to do over, I would have added in, okay? At the time, I didn't know anything about the keto diet. I would have went keto if I had really understood. And I'll tell you why. Think about it like this, okay? Children who have seizures that medicine cannot help, they put them on a ketogenic diet, and it either greatly reduces their seizures to where the medicine does work for them, or it stops the seizures and they don't even need medicine. So the ketogenic diet is very healing to the nervous system, to the brain, really to all parts of the body. I mean, it's really amazing. So I would have incorporated the ketogenic diet because I think it would have aided in the healing process. And if I were you and you're interested in the keto diet, I would do a low oxalate ketogenic diet. I don't want to get into that because this video is already over 30 minutes. You can Google that. And I would like for you, if you send me questions, please, there is so much data on the ketogenic diet, probably a million videos. So please, like if you have questions about the ketogenic diet, look at that. You can, it's so easy to find information about the ketogenic diet. But if you have other questions about blepharospasm, and other things about this video that aren't, obviously like the keto diet, which you can find information everywhere, then please, send me a little message at the end of this, and I'll try to get back to you. My thoughts and prayers are with you. Take care. God bless.